What if everything you thought you knew was a lie? Bambi just got exposed in court, and the leaked footage changes everything. In the middle of a tense trial, shocking video surfaced showing what prosecutors call a staged pregnancy, and now, fans are questioning everything. Was it for clout? Sympathy? Or something even deeper? One thing's clear, the truth just hit harder than anyone expected. And the fallout? It's only just beginning, the cameras weren't even supposed to be rolling. It was a standard court hearing, closed doors, legal motions, the usual hush of legal decorum. But what happened inside that courtroom would erupt into one of the most explosive celebrity scandals of the year. It was the moment the footage leaked, not just any footage, but a clip showing Bambi, emotional, whispering something to her legal team that would change everything, delete everything. The pregnancy story wasn't real. That was it. Just a whisper. But in a world where millions follow every move of their favorite reality stars, that whisper was louder than a gunshot. The moment the audio hit the internet, social media caught fire. Within hours, #FakePregnancyGate was trending across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. And Bambi, known for her glamorous persona, her explosive storylines on love and hip-hop, and her roller coaster relationship with Scrappy, had always been a lightning rod for drama. But no one saw this coming. A fake pregnancy? Faking motherhood for attention? Sympathy? Clout? The reaction was swift, merciless, and viral. But let's rewind the clock. Because this story didn't start in the courtroom. It started months earlier, with a carefully staged announcement that captured the hearts of millions. When Bambi first revealed she was expecting again, fans rallied around her. She posted a stunning photo on Instagram, hand on belly, a glowing smile, and a caption that read, "God's timing is always perfect." Dizzy, the post racked up hundreds of thousands of likes within hours. The comments section was flooded with congratulations from celebrities, influencers, and fans alike. Even those who had once criticized her couldn't help but feel moved. After everything she'd been through, her breakups, the messy drama with Scrappy, the tension with Mama D, a baby felt like a fresh start. What no one knew was that this was the beginning of a narrative that, according to insiders, was entirely scripted. Multiple sources close to Bambi would later testify that there had been no medical confirmation, no visible signs behind the scenes, no scheduled appointments, no ultrasounds. It just never came up. She talked about it on social media, but off camera? Total silence. One former assistant confessed, things began to feel off when Bambi refused to do a maternity photo shoot with any major outlets. Unlike previous pregnancies, where she'd partnered with fashion brands and magazines, this time she stayed quiet. "It's private," she told fans during an Instagram Live when asked about updates. "This one is different." Different, indeed. Then came the court case. Initially unrelated to the pregnancy, the case revolved around a civil dispute between Bambi and a former business partner. But during a discovery phase, lawyers gained access to personal communications, and that's when the whispers began. It started with texts, then voice notes, then internal emails between Bambi's management team, and finally, a hard drive. According to the legal team representing the opposing side, that hard drive contained deleted footage, metadata, and internal team messages suggesting that the pregnancy was a ruse designed to generate publicity and reclaim relevance. During a turbulent period in Bambi's public life, the court tried to suppress the contents, but it was too late. An anonymous leak dropped an 11-second audio clip. And while short, it was undeniable: delete everything. The pregnancy story wasn't real, Bambi whispered. The clip was played again and again on social media. Slowed down. Cleaned up with audio tools. Memed. Parroted. Debated. Some fans refused to believe it. Others said they knew all along. But once the leak went viral, the floodgates opened. Scrappy, Bambi's estranged ex, who had kept quiet since their breakup, suddenly posted a cryptic Instagram story, "Y'all don't even know the half." And then, he deleted it, but the damage had already been done. The blogs picked it up, commentators on YouTube started deep diving the situation, and everyone, from the Shade Room to TMZ, was covering the unraveling of Bambi's carefully crafted story. Behind the scenes, Bambi's team was in crisis mode. Cease and desist letters were issued. Her PR team stopped responding to press inquiries. Her attorney filed motions for the court to suppress all leaked evidence due to privacy violations. But the internet doesn't wait. The truth, or what people believed to be the truth, was already out. By this point, even her close circle began backing away. Sources close to Mama D claimed she had suspected something wasn't right from the start, but chose not to interfere. She said it didn't feel like the last time, a family friend told the press. She wasn't glowing. She wasn't excited. She was performing. But it wasn't just Bambi's family feeling betrayed. Fans who had donated to a pregnancy-related campaign she had casually promoted, one that claimed to support women dealing with postpartum depression, now felt scammed. The campaign had raised tens of thousands of dollars. And suddenly, the donations were being questioned. Where had the money gone? Was the charity even real? The scandal now had legal legs. What had started as courtroom gossip was now a full-on investigation into fraud, manipulation, and public deception. A source from the courthouse told local media, "There's more to come. Way more." Meanwhile, Bambi vanished. No Instagram posts. No tweets. No TikTok appearances. Nothing. She'd gone completely dark. Some speculated she was hiding out. Others believed she was preparing a media comeback. But her silence only added fuel to the fire. With no apology, no denial, and no clarification, the public filled in the blanks themselves, and the narrative turned vicious. Even former Love and Hip Hop castmates began commenting. Some with subtle shade. Others, brutally direct. "She always wanted to be the main character," one cast member said during a live stream. "Guess she finally got what she wanted." Still, others weren't ready to throw her under the bus. A few influencers defended Bambi, pointing out the brutal pressures of reality TV and the constant demand to stay relevant. "Y'all want drama every season, but then punish people when they give it to you," one tweet read, and that's where the story stood, until court resumed the following week. This time, reporters were camped outside. Paparazzi were in place. Security was tight. Everyone wanted to know what Bambi would say, if she would appear at all, and whether the court would address the leaked footage head-on. Then, just as court was about to begin, a new leak dropped. This time, it wasn't just audio. It was video security footage from a private production meeting. Bambi, dressed casually, sitting in a chair, reviewing storylines with her PR team. A large whiteboard in the background listed plot points for the upcoming season. And one of those bullet points read, "Pregnancy arc, stretch it to reunion. Special." That leak would change everything. The courtroom buzzed with tension as the second leak made its way through the internet like wildfire. This time, it wasn't a muffled audio whisper or a cryptic message, it was visual. Undeniable. Unforgiving. A short video clip, only 28 seconds long, but enough to destroy what was left of Bambi's defense. Captured during a private production meeting, the video showed her in a hoodie, no makeup, clearly off-camera mode. But what drew everyone's attention wasn't her, it was the whiteboard behind her. And on that whiteboard, in plain black marker, written like just another task in a PR strategy meeting, were the words, "Pregnancy arc, stretch it to reunion special." Beneath it, bullet points, emotional reveal, hospital visit. Tease, no full confirmation, postpartum tie-in brand pitch. People were stunned. If there was still any shred of belief that the pregnancy could be real, it died right then and there. It was no longer just whispers or speculation. This was premeditated, businesslike, and frankly, cold. The media coverage was relentless. Outlets ran side-by-side comparisons, Bambi's past Instagram posts versus the planning notes from the whiteboard. Her captions, once seen as touching, were now dissected line by line, exposed as manufactured emotion. The post where she held her stomach and said, "We're growing by one heart but gaining a lifetime of love," now looked like a rehearsed line from a script. Because, apparently, it was .as the video spread, legal commentators began weighing in. While faking a pregnancy isn't a crime, the circumstances surrounding it, especially the fundraising campaign that ran alongside the story, could potentially lead to fraud charges, depending on what investigators uncovered. The public began demanding answers about where that money went. And more importantly, who knew what, and when. At the center of it all was Bambi, still silent. She hadn't made a statement. She hadn't posted. Her legal team was still arguing that the leaks were inadmissible, obtained illegally, and taken out of context. But that argument was losing steam with every passing day. Especially now, when insiders started flipping. One anonymous producer from the show came forward to a gossip outlet, confirming that the storyline had been shaped behind the scenes, but insisted that no one expected Bambi to fake an actual pregnancy. "We play up drama. That's what sells," they said. But no one told her to fake a baby. That was her call. She brought it to the table. Meanwhile, Scrappy's silence had ended. In a now-deleted post, he wrote, "I tried to keep it quiet. I really did. But lies don't hide forever." Fans immediately took that as confirmation that Scrappy had known, or at least suspected, something wasn't right. In the weeks leading up to the pregnancy reveal, he and Bambi were barely on speaking terms. According to sources, their separation had been messier than what was shown on screen. And now, with the truth coming to light, people began wondering, was this fake pregnancy a last-ditch effort to salvage a storyline? Win sympathy? Or control the narrative before the reunion taping? It didn't take long for other castmates to chime in. Erica Mena went live on Instagram, her voice dripping with disbelief. "She really played the whole world," she said. "I knew something was up when she started dropping all those vague posts and refused to talk to anyone off camera. It was a performance. A long one." Even Mama D, Scrappy's mother, broke her silence. In an interview with a gossip podcast, she shared that she hadn't been informed of the pregnancy directly, and only found out through social media. "And now we know why," she said coldly. "Because there was nothing to tell." Meanwhile, the court itself was now under pressure to address the leaks. The judge called for an emergency session to investigate how courtroom evidence had been released to the public. Bambi's lawyers argued that the leaks violated her rights and threatened to compromise the fairness of the trial. Cameron's team responded bluntly, "The truth shouldn't be hidden just because it's inconvenient." The judge didn't rule immediately, but promised a review of security protocols and potential sanctions for any parties involved in unauthorized disclosures. But at this point, the damage wasn't just legal. It was personal. Bambi's brand was crumbling in real time. Sponsorships quietly disappeared. One makeup line, which had announced a postpartum collaboration, deleted all posts featuring her. The pregnancy-related fundraiser was shut down pending investigation. Followers began mass unfollowing. Influencer commentary exploded. Worse yet, stories began surfacing from former employees and assistants who now felt free to speak. One ex-assistant, under anonymity, described watching Bambi practice her pregnancy monologues before lives, rehearsing when to pause, when to sniffle, when to touch her stomach. "It was like a theater," they said. "She planned everything. Every look, every caption. It was all a show." Still, there were those who defended her. A small but vocal group online argued that the pressure on women in reality TV, especially black women, often forces them into extreme performance just to survive in a cutthroat, ratings-driven industry. "Y'all don't understand what it takes to stay relevant on that show," one fan wrote on Twitter. "You either get messy, get pregnant, or get fired." But for the majority, sympathy was in short supply. The narrative had moved from drama to betrayal. And now that the court had officially acknowledged the authenticity of the leaked materials, the trial moved into deeper, more dangerous territory. The money, investigators found that over $85,000 had been donated to Bambi's affiliated cause during the height of the fake pregnancy arc. The campaign claimed to support mental health resources for new mothers, a noble cause, and one that had clearly resonated with her audience. But now, every cent was under review. Bank records obtained by court order showed luxury purchases, private travel expenses, and payments to consultants during the same timeframe. Prosecutors suggested that at least a portion of the funds may have been misused. Bambi's defense maintained that she had intended to deliver on the promises of the campaign, but life circumstances and media manipulation had derailed her efforts. Meanwhile, the public wasn't buying it. YouTube creators dropped hour-long exposés breaking down timelines, receipts, and even facial expressions in old clips. TikTokers reenacted her courtroom moments, lip-syncing to the leaked audio and acting out the whiteboard scene. It became a cultural moment, not just a scandal, but a symbol of influencer excess, reality TV gone too far, and the cost of living a life built for the algorithm. As Part 2 of the trial wrapped, one thing was becoming clear: this wasn't going away. With court hearings resuming in a matter of days, all eyes turned to Bambi's next move. Would she finally break her silence? Would she own up? Or would she continue to fight back, even as the evidence mounted? But then came the biggest twist. Yet, just before the court recessed for the weekend, a bombshell was quietly filed by Cameron's legal team, a new witness, someone deeply connected to the inner workings of Bambi's brand and social presence. Someone who claimed to have seen everything, and had the receipts to prove it. The court granted a sealed testimony hearing. No cameras, no public transcripts, but word still got out. When word spread that a new witness was coming forward, social media exploded again. The leak didn't say who it was, only that this person had been close to Bambi's operations, and had direct knowledge of how the entire fake pregnancy storyline had been orchestrated. Fans speculated wildly. Was it a former assistant? A friend? Someone from production? Then came the bombshell. The sealed testimony was given in private, but a few reporters, carefully chosen, were allowed in the room. Within hours, whispers started leaking. The witness was Bambi's former brand manager, the very person responsible for curating her public image, social media strategy, and partnership deals, and what they revealed was absolutely devastating. In sworn testimony, the witness stated that not only had Bambi planned the pregnancy arc in advance, but she had also signed brand deals knowing full well the pregnancy was fake. One deal in particular, a 6-month contract with a wellness brand focused on maternal health, had been pitched using falsified documents. According to the manager, Bambi had asked her team to create something that looks official when she was asked for verification, but it didn't stop there. The brand manager also submitted a series of emails, Slack messages, and calendar invites that backed up the timeline. One message, dated months before the announcement, said, "We need something big this season. If we build a slow-burn pregnancy arc, we can carry that into at least 4 episodes, maybe through the reunion." Another message, following the fake charity campaign launch, said, "Make sure all content leans heavy into emotional appeal. Moms equals $. The court gasped. Even the judge looked visibly stunned. Suddenly, this wasn't just a scandal. It was potentially criminal. Cameron's legal team pushed further, pointing to a series of transactions showing that large amounts of the donation money had ended up in personal accounts, some of which were traced to luxury retail stores and private travel bookings. Bambi's legal team attempted to object repeatedly, calling the witness biased and bitter. They claimed the brand manager had been fired over personality conflicts and was simply retaliating. But the receipts were too detailed, too specific. The digital trail didn't lie. At that point, the judge ordered a temporary recess. The court was silent. Nobody spoke. It was as if everyone had finally realized this wasn't just reality TV drama. This was real. A real deception. Real people are misled. Real money is misused. And a real woman, now caught in a lie too. Deep to walk away from, but still, no word from Bambi. She arrived at court the next day in all black, flanked by lawyers, her face hidden behind oversized sunglasses. She didn't speak to reporters. She didn't glance at fans. She walked straight into the courtroom as if every step weighed her down. Her lawyers asked the court for leniency, stating Bambi wished to make a voluntary statement, and finally, she spoke. "I'm sorry," she began. Her voice was low, dry, not the fiery, defiant Bambi the public was used to, but someone else. Someone is tired. I got lost. Somewhere along the way, between the show, the pressure, the business deals, I started believing my own hype. And then I couldn't stop. She admitted to embellishing her situation, though she stopped short of calling it a full-blown fake. "I was struggling with personal things, and I thought if I created something hopeful, I could heal through it. I didn't think it would go this far." But by then, no one seemed to believe her anymore. The judge handed down a ruling a few days later. While Bambi avoided jail time, due to lack of prior offenses and her willingness to cooperate after the fact, she was fined heavily for fraudulent representation in her brand partnerships. The charity funds were ordered to be repaid in full. She was also required to issue a public video statement accepting full responsibility. The court also ruled that Bambi be restricted from launching or promoting any nonprofit initiatives for a minimum of 5 years. Brands were advised to take legal action if they wished. The door was left open for potential civil lawsuits. Outside the courtroom, reaction was swift. TMZ, Shade Room, and dozens of entertainment YouTubers covered the statement within minutes. Fans were divided, some angry, others just sad. One comment under the court footage summed up the mood. "I didn't expect her to be perfect. But I never thought she'd fake something so real." Scrappy, who had remained silent since his deleted post, finally spoke during a radio interview. He didn't say much. But what he said was enough. "I prayed for that baby. I planned my life around it. And I guess I was just part of the storyline." After that, he refused to answer any follow-up questions.